My name is David. I am 50 years old. I refuse to accept the tired label. I pump iron in my garage every morning, and I expect my body to keep up with my ambition. I don't accept less than my absolute best potential. But let me be completely honest with you right now. A few years ago, I hit a massive wall. I was waking up completely exhausted, even after what should have been a full night of sleep. My energy felt like it was leaking away, little by little, day after day. My performance in the gym tanked, and worse, I noticed my erections were not as strong as they once were. I thought my best days were behind me. I was wrong. I found out my body was just waving a red flag, telling me something essential was missing. Fixing it did not require expensive drugs or risky procedures. It came down to one simple nutrient at the exact right time of day. If you are also tired of feeling exhausted, losing your drive, and watching your masculinity fade, and you want to learn how I restored my deep sleep, my morning wood, and my total vigor, hit the subscribe button and leave a like. Let's get stronger together. You see, for my whole life, I believed in the American dream of hard work. I believed that if you put your head down, provided for your family and pushed through the pain, you would win. I built my life on discipline. I wake up before the sun. I walk out to my garage gym. I smell the cold iron. I chalk up my hands, and I go to work. I have always prided myself on my brute strength and my endurance. I have a short trimmed beard, calluses on my hands, and a mindset that says failure is simply not an option. But entering my late 50s and early 60s, something shifted inside me, something dark and frustrating. It was not a sudden injury. It was a slow, agonizing leak of my vitality. I remember the mornings clearly. The alarm clock would go off at 4:30 a.m., just like it always did. But instead of jumping out of bed ready to attack the day, I felt like I was buried under a pile of wet sand. My legs felt heavy. My brain felt thick and foggy. I would sit on the edge of the mattress rubbing my face, wondering how I could feel so drained after spending 8 hours in bed. I dragged myself out to the garage, but the weights felt different. The iron felt heavier. My grip kept slipping. My joints ached in a way they never had before. I was sweating, but it was a cold, weak sweat. The fire inside my chest was dying down to a dim ember. I tried to push through it. I told myself to stop complaining. I told myself to just be a man. But you cannot outwork a biological breakdown. Honestly, the physical fatigue in the gym was only half of the nightmare. The real pain, the shame that I kept entirely to myself, was happening right inside my bedroom. You know what I am talking about. Intimacy with my wife started to feel less like a joy and more like a massive burden. I was so exhausted by the time the sun went down that the thought of romance felt impossible. And when the moments did happen, my body betrayed me. I noticed my erections were weakening. The firmness was fading. The morning wood I used to wake up with, that reliable sign of a healthy, functioning man, was completely gone. The silence in the house felt heavy. I felt like I was losing my edge, losing my manhood, losing my place in the world. I thought this was just the normal part of aging. I really did. I thought, well, I guess this is what happens when you cross the 50-year mark. The machine just slows down. But I was so angry at that idea. I refused to just fade away into the background. I refused to sit in a recliner and watch my life pass me by. So, I started looking for answers. I ended up having a long, hard conversation with a specialist, a doctor who understood men's health. I sat across from him, feeling vulnerable but determined. I laid it all out. I told him about the fatigue, the foggy brain, the fading erections, the restless nights. He stopped me right there. He looked me in the eye and told me something that changed my entire life. He said, "David, this is not just your age. This is not simply nature running its course." He explained that what I was experiencing was a complete breakdown of my nightly recovery system. Let me explain what I learned because it blew my mind. I always thought nighttime was just about closing your eyes, drifting off and passing time until the sun came up. I was completely wrong. Nighttime is when your body actually goes to work. It is the ultimate reset button for a man. When you sleep deeply, your testosterone production hits its absolute peak. Your blood vessels, especially the ones in your penis, regenerate and expand. Your prostate calms down and reduces all that hidden inflammation. And your mitochondria, the actual power plants inside every single cell in your body, recharge themselves so you can wake up strong, alert, and ready to dominate the day. The doctor told me that if that nightly system fails, the very first things to collapse are your virility, your energy, and the quality of your sleep. Hearing that was like getting hit with a bucket of ice water. My system was failing. My engine was tearing itself apart from the inside because it never got the chance to cool down and rebuild. But then he gave me the good news. He told me this condition is not irreversible. It is not a death sentence for my youth. He said it almost always comes down to one completely overlooked nutrient, a specific vitamin mineral that almost every single man over the age of 60 is completely deficient in. He said he had sat across from thousands of men, guys in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s, who thought their best days were gone forever. He watched them restore their fundamentals, fix their sleep, and reignite their confidence and intimacy in ways they thought were permanently lost. The missing puzzle piece was magnesium. But it was not as simple as just grabbing a bottle off the shelf. He walked me through the actual science of it, and he pointed out the huge mistakes I was already making. He laid out 4 massive mistakes men make when trying to fix this problem, and I'm going to share them with you right now because I lived through every single one of them. Let me tell you about mistake number 1. Ignoring the magnesium deficiency in the first place. Let's talk straight man to man. The number 1 mineral we are missing is magnesium. Why does that matter so much? Because biologically, magnesium is the calm down switch for your entire nervous system. Without enough of it, your body stays stuck in alert mode. I realized this was exactly what was happening to me. I would fall asleep, sure, but I was never actually reaching that deep, profound, restorative sleep. I was hovering on the surface, my brain still spinning, my nerves still firing. Emotionally, that left me waking up foggy, irritable, heavy, and totally discouraged. I felt it in my body every single night. I was dealing with nighttime bathroom trips that broke my sleep cycle. I had restless legs that twitched and cramped under the blankets. I would wake up feeling like I had run a marathon while I was asleep. And practically speaking, over time, this exact deficiency showed up as those weaker erections and that fading desire. My body was screaming for help, and I was completely ignoring the warning signs. I learned right then and there, if you are getting less restful nights and fewer morning erections, do not just blame your age. It is likely magnesium quietly slipping away from your system, leaving you dry and depleted. Then came mistake number 2, choosing the wrong form of the mineral. You know what I did first? I walked right into my local pharmacy, found the vitamin aisle, grabbed the cheapest, biggest bottle labeled magnesium oxide, and walked out thinking I had solved the puzzle. Big mistake, huge mistake. I started taking it, and within 2 days my stomach was in absolute knots. I was dealing with severe stomach upset and endless trips to the bathroom for all the wrong reasons. I felt worse. I went back to my notes and realized the truth. Magnesium oxide has incredibly poor absorption. Your body barely uses it. It just flushes right through you, causing digestive chaos without delivering any of the real benefits your muscles and brain actually need. For men like us, men who demand performance and longevity, the forms that actually matter are very specific. I had to switch my strategy. I threw the cheap stuff in the trash and invested in what actually works. I found magnesium glycinate. This specific form works directly on your parasympathetic nervous system. It helps you relax. It loosens all those tight, tense muscles you build up from working hard all day, and it allows you to fall into a much deeper sleep. But here is the most important part for us guys. Magnesium glycinate actually dilates your blood vessels. It lays the absolute biological foundation for stronger morning erections. I could literally feel my muscles unclenching the first time I took it properly. I also discovered magnesium L-threonate. This one is entirely different because it actually crosses the blood-brain barrier. It goes straight into the brain. It helped calm my racing, anxious thoughts at night. It reduced that nighttime anxiety of wondering if I was doing enough for my family. And during the day, it sharpened my memory and my focus. I felt like a fog had been lifted off my brain. I realized that when your goal is better sleep, improved erections and restored vigor, these are the only two forms that actually count. Everything else is just expensive, painful waste. But even with the right forms, I stumbled into mistake number 3, taking it at the wrong time of day. Timing is absolutely everything with this protocol. Magnesium is a calming agent. It literally tells your biological clock that it is safe to shut down and rest. In the beginning, I was taking my vitamins in the morning with my breakfast. I would swallow the pills, drink my black coffee and head out to the garage to lift. I wondered why I felt so sluggish. I wondered why the weights felt heavier. I was taking a relaxation mineral right before I needed explosive power. I was sabotaging my own mornings and completely losing the nighttime recovery benefits I desperately needed. I had to fix my routine. I learned that the absolute best time to take it is 30 to 60 minutes before getting into bed. I created a strict ritual for myself, a true, non-negotiable routine. I started taking my magnesium glycinate and threonate with a warm glass of water. Sometimes, if it was a particularly hard day, I would make a cup of plain chamomile tea. I made a rule for myself: dim the lights in the house. I put my phone away in another room. No more scrolling, no more looking at bright screens, no more checking emails. I gave my body the clear, undeniable signal that the workday was over and it was time to rebuild. I felt the difference almost immediately. When you do that consistently, your body actually begins to reset its own internal clock. You feel the heavy, natural wave of sleep wash over you. It is a beautiful feeling. But I still had to conquer mistake number 4. This one was the hardest for me because of my personality. Expecting instant results. I am an American man. I want things done yesterday. I want to fix the problem and move on. But this protocol does not work like a massive dose of caffeine. It does not work like a magical blue pill that forces a biological reaction. It works cumulatively. It builds up, night after night, layer after layer, cell by cell. I had to be patient. I had to trust the process. I remember the first few nights. I did not wake up feeling like Superman, but I did notice that I was falling asleep much faster. I was not staring at the ceiling for an hour. I felt a deeper sense of physical relaxation in my chest and my legs. I stayed consistent. I did not miss a single night. By the end of week 1, the magic started to happen. I woke up on a Thursday morning and I noticed something incredible. I had more energy. I did not feel the need to hit the snooze button. I realized I had not gotten up to use the bathroom at all during the night. I slept straight through. And the biggest victory? I felt the return of stronger morning erections. It was a subtle shift, but it was undeniable. My body was waking back up. The blood vessels were expanding again. The testosterone was finally getting a chance to peak. I kept pushing. After 2 solid weeks of absolute consistency, my life completely transformed. I was getting a solid 6 to 8 hours of unbroken deep sleep every single night. My mood was significantly calmer. I was not snapping at little things anymore. My focus at work was razor sharp, and there was a massive natural lift in my libido. Intimacy with my wife returned, not out of obligation but out of genuine surging desire. I felt like a young man trapped in a mature man's body. The key word through that entire journey was consistency. I learned that if you miss nights, you lose your momentum. You have to commit to this like you commit to your family, your job, and your life. So, How did I put this massive transformation into action, and how can you do exactly the same thing tonight? Let me explain my exact protocol. First, I chose the right type. I threw away the garbage and only looked for high-quality magnesium glycinate or magnesium L-threonate. I did not compromise on quality. Second, I took the right dose. I started relatively low because I wanted to see how my body reacted. I started with 200 milligrams of glycinate and 1 gram of threonate. I listened to my body and adjusted it slightly as the weeks went on, but that baseline was exactly what I needed to trigger the recovery. Third, I set a non-negotiable bedtime routine. Lights went down in the house at 9 p.m. No screens, no television in the bedroom. I took my magnesium with warm water. I was in bed, with my eyes closed, within 1 hour. No exceptions. Fourth, I learned how to stack it smartly. This was a game changer for my strength in the gym. I started pairing my magnesium with a high-quality zinc supplement and vitamin B6. In the fitness world, we call this ZMA. Taking this combination had even stronger, more explosive effects on my natural testosterone production, my muscle recovery after heavy lifting, and my overall libido. And finally, I added one crucial bonus tip that completely changed the way my body absorbed the nutrients. I paired my supplement routine with 10 minutes of gentle, focused nighttime stretching. I would get down on the floor of my bedroom, breathe deeply, and just stretch out my hamstrings, my lower back, and my shoulders. I realized that when you actively ease the physical muscle tension right before getting into bed, the magnesium actually works significantly better. It flows into the relaxed muscle fibers and goes straight to work. I look at myself in the mirror today, at 50 years old, and I see a man who won his life back. My skin looks healthier because I am actually sleeping. My muscles are dense and hard again because I am recovering. My eyes are sharp. I feel the burn when I lift, but it is a good burn, a powerful burn, not the weak ache of a dying engine. I sweat, I push, and I grow. Let me pause for a moment and speak directly to your heart. If you are sitting there right now, reading this and thinking to yourself, David, I feel like I have already lost way too much ground. My energy is completely gone. My marriage is cold. Maybe it is just too late for me. I need you to hear me clearly, man to man. It is not too late. I have spoken to guys in their late 70s who genuinely thought their intimacy and their power were gone forever. They thought they were finished, and I watched them rediscover their connection, their total confidence, and their profound joy once they finally got their sleep and recovery back on track. This whole journey is not about desperately chasing your lost youth. I don't want to be 20 again. I want to be the absolute strongest, most capable version of 50, 60, or 70 that I can possibly be. This is about restoring your dignity. It is about your freedom. It is about the fundamental ability to wake up every single morning, put your feet on the floor, and be totally ready for whatever life throws at you. Gentlemen, hear me now. The fatigue, the terrible sleep, the fading erections, the lack of desire, these are not inevitable signs of aging. Do not let society tell you that you just have to accept getting weak. They are simply signs of a biological deficiency, and the beautiful truth is, deficiencies can be fixed. Your body, right now, still has the profound ability to be immensely strong, completely vital, and deeply intimate. But your body needs your active partnership. It needs you to step up and give it the right tools, and that process starts tonight, the moment the sun goes down. So tonight, I challenge you to take that step. Support your sleep. Support your physical recovery. Support your masculinity. Do not let it slip away without a fight. Because when you do this, you do not just change your nights, you change your entire days. You change your relationships, you change your marriage, and you change the entire trajectory of your future. We are building an army of men who refuse to quit. We are building a brotherhood of guys who demand the absolute best from their bodies and their lives. We have a legacy to protect, and we need our strength to do it. If my story resonated with you, if you felt the truth in my words, please like this video so more men can find this message and wake up from their exhaustion. Comment below and tell me exactly where you are watching from. I love seeing the global community of strong men we are building together. And make sure you subscribe so we can keep sharing these vital truths. You deserve unwavering confidence. You deserve endless energy. You deserve restful sleep and an intimacy that feels completely alive again. Take care of your health, protect your vitality, and never accept less than your absolute best. Before you go, I want you to make a commitment to yourself right here, right now. I want you to go down to the comment section and type 3 simple words. I want you to type, "I am strong." Type it, believe it, and start living it tonight. Let's get to work.